भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीम् अष्टादशाध्यायीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णा प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः। प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दुग्धा गोपालनन्दन पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भुक्ता दुग्धीतामृतम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला। अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः। पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटं नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितं। लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। Welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita. We are revising the 6th chapter. Sri Krishna in one verse gives a great message. When Arjuna asked the question, "O Lord, it is easy for you to talk about philosophy, it is easy for you to say that we should have harmony within ourselves and so on and so forth. But the mind is so turbulent. Samshayam mahabaho." And then he says, "Chalam yivana Krishna pramati balavadridam." The mind is extremely turbulent, extremely unstable. It is trying to catch the wind and control it and make use of it. It cannot be done. Therefore, Sri Krishna says, I undoubtedly, without any doubt, it is true that it is difficult to control the mind. Difficult does not mean impossible. In life, anything can be done. It is difficult, but do not say it is. The moment you place limitations around yourself and say this is impossible, then you have gone down. You have degraded yourself. But when you say, I shall try, shall make an effort, That's why Sri Krishna first uses what are the two paths that he advises us. One is effort, make effort. Abhyasena tu kaunteya. And then he says, Vairagyena cha. Once you make a resolution that I will make an effort, that I will improve myself, you also need another resolution within yourself. What is it? That I will only go towards my goal and not be swerved or not be swayed by other thoughts. One goal, ekapatha, one goal, that's what I want. I will achieve that goal. This doggedness, this constant remembrance of the goal that we need to achieve. Swami Vivekananda says, think about it, repeat it day and night, and you will reach that. And repetition is very important. So again and again you repeat that I want to be this. So he says here, Abhyasena tu kaunteya. Abhyasa is a very, very important word that Sri Krishna said. And Patanjali gives a definition. What is Abhyasa? And he says, Abhyaso nama. What is meant by Abhyasa is Chitta bhumau kasyamschit samana pratyaya avrittihi chittasya. The practice, what is practice? Practice is engaging, samana at one point, continuously engaging at one point. If you keep on hammering, you put the hammer on steel, very strong piece of steel, you take it, and you keep on constantly, you hammer and hammer and hammer. Slowly and slowly, the steel will give way to crack. So it is possible. Therefore, it says engaging at one point. You cannot hit at one place and then go and hit at another place. No, that cannot happen. You should engage at one place. This is a very important. Samana pratyaya. Sam means constant. One point. At one point. Samana pratyaya avrittihi chittasya. Engaging at one point. Particular thought. Time and again and again. That is the idea. So the question is asked. I took this up last Sunday, but I will just develop it a little further. I thought I did not do justice to this subject properly. So he says, how can we adapt the habit of seeing into the things? How can I adapt into the habit of visualizing the goal in front of me? But always it should be shining and it should be always evident before me. So Patanjali, being a great teacher, and one of the greatest psychologists one can ever imagine, he says how to do it? Parinama, by examining these three things. What are these four things? What are the four things? Parinama, Tava, Samskara, Dukkaihi, Vritti Virodhacha, Dukkhameva Sarvam Vivekinaha. See, by seeing these four kinds of sufferings that are inherent in everything, knowing that these things are not useful and that my goal must only be followed, nothing else but my goal, then you can progress. What is the first thing that he says is parinama. Parinama is change, that there is change in everything. And the result of change is generally either happiness or misery. Either it gives you joy or it brings about some kind of misery, parinam. Then is tapa, tapa dukkha. That means this longing. If you like something, you want to have it again. And it's like something, but yet if it comes in front of you, you become anxious, anxiety. So the first one is misery caused by enjoyment or pain or suffering, and the second is anxiety that is caused by either enjoyment or rejection also, and the third is samskara dukkha. Samskara are the habits that we develop. Samskara dukkha, that is pain caused by repeated habits. I will develop this subject a little more. And then the fourth that Patanjali gives to us is guna vritti nirodha. That is the gunas, that means the energies. That's the correct word. Guna vritti nirodha. The energies are fluctuating at all times. The first one is parinama dukkha. What is parinama dukkha? We all run behind pleasures. We all run behind something that will give us a little bit of happiness, even a slight happiness. We are running after that. Like a wild goose chase, we keep on running and running, and the object is also running forward. We are trying to follow it, and the object is also going forward. Parinam. So, we think that the joy that I derive from what I am chasing will give me everlasting joy, everlasting pleasure. But what happens when I lose a lot of energy, when I lose a lot of energy and strength, and maybe even money or even reputation, whatever it is, then we see that this thing is really a wild goose chase and that it is of no use. We feel totally unfulfilled, and instead of becoming happy, that which we were chasing was happiness, we now become victims of misery or of sorrow. A poor man, this is a real incident that took place. A poor man was once passing by and he saw a big marriage hall. Marriage was going on, and then he just looked there, and there are a few counters. And in one counter there is savory starters, then there is the soups, different types of soups, and another counter, a third counter, there is the main course, and then the fourth counter, there are the desserts. But he was a poor beggar, he could not get in. As he tried to get in, he was stopped. And then he made a vow that day. One day, I will become as rich as this person who has organized this party, and I will eat everything. I will eat it to my heart's content, everything. So the resolution was good, of course. So he started working very hard, and he put forth 100% energy into whatever he was doing. He started tasting success. One by one, one by one, he started chasing this success. Slowly and slowly, He started becoming richer and richer. And of course, along with richness, the riches came all anxieties as well. And the anxieties gave him acidity, and he could not eat and digest. So then his daughter's marriage was there, and so he organized a big feast for everyone, but he could not touch even one dish out of all of them because he had a very poor appetite, very poor stomach. So that's what we all do. We try to chase after things, and then when we get it, we do not have that energy to enjoy it. Suppose I start enjoying something when I have some energy, and what I become is I become a slave of that enjoyment. I would expect the same enjoyment the next time I get it. The third time also I will wait, and I will hope that the same amount of enjoyment that I had would be given to me, would be granted to me. And when I don't get it, what happens? I feel very anxious. So that is what Patanjali calls this parinama dukkha, the parinama dukkha. There is the resultant misery caused by all events, even changeful events, parinama dukkha. The second type of misery, all of us feel this. Nobody is an exception to this. You, me, everyone are subject to this. Until we become one with the divine, all this will be there. The second, he talks about the tapa dukkha. Tapa dukkha is anxiety caused by all my pursuits. As I said, when I enjoy something, I want the experience to remain constant. And while enjoying also, the worst thing is, while I am enjoying something, I am also afraid that this may not last longer, or this might give me ill health. During this Diwali, most of us, we have eaten a lot of ghee, sweets and ghee and other things. We know that overindulging causes us trouble. Yet we enjoy it and we eat it. At the back of our mind, somehow, the mind is saying, do not overindulge in it, do not overdo it. But yet we do it. So there is the anxiety. When I am enjoying something, I am also ingesting in myself this anxiety that I will have to suffer as a consequence of what I am doing. So that is called as tapa dukkha. Secondly, we develop a sense of possessiveness about the things that we enjoy. Most of us do. I hold on to something and I become very possessive of it. And if anyone tries to share it, tries to put their hand into my pipe and succeeds in taking it, what will happen? We will have irsha. Irsha is jealousy. Or if the other person does much better after getting it from me, then I will have this jealousy. That is a very dangerous thing. Irsha, jealousy. It burns our innards, as it were, our inner being, as it were. Irsha. It is a fire. Jealousy is a fire. Indeed. Tapa. It is a tapa. It gives a lot of heat, so to say. And thirdly, when I am enjoying something, when I am experiencing something, and that joy, if it is not 100% joy, if it doesn't give 100% joy, if it is unsatisfactory, there is a sense of regret, there is a sense of remorse, there's a sense of remorse in me. So all these psychological changes, psychological actions happen within us when we are subject to this tapa, when we are subject to this kind of anxiety. And then, thirdly, Patanjali talks about samskara dukkha. Samskara is habit. Somebody beautifully said, HABIT, habit. You take off H, a bit remains. You take off A, H and A, bit remains. You take off the B, still it remains. Only when you take off that I, then the T does not make any sense at all. It doesn't have any meaning. So habit is like that. As long as that feeling that of I, ego is there, these habits can become dangerous. So it says samskara dukkha is habits that are associated with misery or of sorrow. When I have very good experience of something that I have enjoyed, for example, it leaves behind an impression within our mind. Psychologists say that all the experiences that we had since childhood, they are all stored. Each and every experience is stored somewhere within our psyche. And at particular times, it jumps out and then it reveals itself, and then it triggers a kind of a need for such an enjoyment again. So it says, when I have this good experience of happiness at a particular point of time, then it leaves behind the samskara or the impressions, so to say. So if I am not able to get joy similar to it, then what happens? It leaves a sense of misery in me. It leaves a sense of unfulfillment within me. So the samskaras are also dangerous, so to say. But we don't have any hold upon the samskaras. What can be done? Our saints, they say, Purana, you infill it. If you have some experiences and you want to get rid of those thoughts, what do? You infill it with thoughts of purity. The standard example, I have said it many times in this class, you take a huge jar, you are given a huge jar, and it has got lot of brackish water, lot of dirt in it, and you are alone. You are asked to clean it, remove all the dirt that is there in the jar, water jar. What would you do? You cannot tilt it because it is heavy, it is huge. You cannot do it. What do? The best thing, you take a hose and then you start filling it with clean water. Goes on cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. Out comes all the brackish water, out comes all the dirt. So that is what the Patanjali also talks about. He says, fill yourself with positive energy, positive thoughts at all times. Thoughts that will purify you, not thoughts that will only give you joy or happiness, thoughts that can purify you. That is why we are asked to repeat the mantras again and again and again and again. As children, we used to ask our parents, why should we repeat these mantras again and again to the Lord? Is it not enough just to say one mantra and then would not God be pleased by it? God is pleased even if you do not say the mantra. If you have God in your heart, He is pleased. But what it does is that it purifies your inner being. It removes all these old samskaras, old habits. Slowly and slowly, it is very imperceptible, but it does. Definitely, the mantra goes deeper into yourself, cleanses all the dirt and dust out of your being. That is the efficacy of the mantras that we are asked to repeat again and again. Then, the fourth type of dukkha, the fourth type of misery that we incur, according to Patanjali, is guna vritti nirodha. Guna vritti nirodhacha. That is fluctuating balance of energies in the body. According to Ayurveda science of Ayurveda, there are three energies which govern our whole body: kapha, vata, and pitta. Kapha is the phlegm, the water part of it. Then vata, the gaseous substance, wind, etc. And then pitta, that is the bile. So these three, if there is imbalance, all these three must be there in our system, but they must be balanced, equal amount. But sometimes when we overindulge in something, then either the kapha or the vata or the pitta, it increases. And as a result, we feel total discomfort within our being. So, in the same way, there are the other energies. What are those? Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. These three qualities are also, these gunas are also in us. Sattva is the pure quality. Rajas is the very active quality, restless nature. Then Tamas is inertia, not doing anything, sleeping all the time, 24 hours of the day. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Therefore, there should be a balance of activity, of contemplation, Sattva, and also of Tamas, that is rest, proper rest. All these must be balanced in our whole being, our body as well as in our mind. So Sattva is indicative of the brightness or purity within us, and then Rajas is of activity and so on and so forth. Therefore, this guna vritti virodhacha, because of the imbalance of all these energies within us, it can make us either happy or unhappy at times. While meditating, for example, we sometimes experience joy. Our mind, those of you who meditate regularly, you know this. You are trying to meditate, and slowly your mind, unbeknown to yourself, it calms down. It calms down. But at that very moment, sleep overtakes you. Just as when you think that you are able to meditate, at that moment, sleep comes and overtakes you, and you fall into tamas, inertia, so to say. The mind then goes into sleep. So that is one sadhu once told me You know what is the uh, best point of meditation? I said, Swamiji, I do not know. He said, the best point of meditation is when your mind is calming and the sleep is trying to come and overtake that meditation, that calmness. At that moment, you become aware of the presence of the divine in your heart. You start conversing with the Lord in your heart. You start talking to the divine in your heart. Then the heart will become luminous. It was a wonderful lesson for me at that time when I learned it. So this is a good way of understanding the three things. That is the gunas. That is sattva, rajas, and tamas. Parinama tapa samskara dukkaihi gunavritti virodhacha dukkameva sarvam vivekinaha. Therefore, Sri Krishna says here, these two things, try to practice this every day. One is constant practice, constant concentration upon the goal that you want to achieve, and go about doing it, not just sit and brood over it. Go about. Then comes vairagya, means have total self-control. Tell yourself, tell your mind that do not go here and there. Make a friend of your mind. Most of us fight our mind, which is wrong. Make a friend of your mind and tell your friend, this is the right thing, follow this, and slowly it will come under your control. So Sri Krishna continues this, and he says in the next verse, 36th verse, असंयतात्मना योगो दुष्प्रापयति मे मतिः वश्यात्मना तु यतता शक्यो वाप्तुमुपायतः. See, if you do not practice this, what will happen to you? He says, asamyatatmanaha. A person who does not want to control, asamyata. Samyata means one who is controlled, composed. A person who is controlled and composed. Such a person, asamyatatman. But asamyatatmana, a person who does not have any control over oneself. Physical control or even mental control. First of all, you should have physical control. Then comes the mental control. Just you see something and then you run after it. That is not the way. What is the difference between human beings and animals? The animals are moved by their tendencies. They are moved by the desire for achieving something which is going in front of it. Whereas humans have this thing either to do or not to do, either to go for it or not to go for it. This human birth is so very precious because here in this very life we can see God, we can experience God, we can become one with God. This is the greatness of human life. So we should not fritter away this wonderful opportunity that has been granted to us as human beings. So here he says, asamyatatmana, a person who does not have self-control, dushprayogaha dushprapa. Do not think that such a person will become a yogi. Vashyatmana tu yatata shakyaha avaptum upayataha. But while he talks about the negatives, he is also talking about the positives. Vashyatmana, but a person who has self-control after having total self-control. Yatata upayatah shakyaha. Yatata upayatah shakyaha. That means for those who have their minds under control, it is possible to attain if they strive with the proper means. The key to this sloka, this verse is this upayataha. Whatever you do, whatever action you undertake it with the proper knowledge, proper tools. Use the proper tools to handle things. See, in India we have a saying that people can do anything with jugaad. That is what it is. They will just invent something and then do it. But if there are proper tools, then the effort will be much less and the outcome will be much better. Definitely. Jugaad is essential. That is invention. It is essential. But it is crude also. It is not refined, so to say. Therefore, if you have the proper tools and then invent, then those things will last longer. It will be everlasting, so to say. So, asamyatatmana yoga. A person who does not have any self-control, for such a person, this yoga is impossible. Christ says in the Bible, thou canst serve both God and mammon. You cannot serve both God and mammon. That means do not think that you will get God or you will have the vision of God and yet try to enjoy the sensual life. No, it cannot happen. So there should be that self-control. You cannot let go of the horse and think that it will come back. It will bolt and it will go away unless you have trained it to come back. Therefore, it says asamyatatmana yoga. So both self-control and wayward manner cannot go all together, so to say. It is like saying hot ice. Hot ice, it's an oxymoron. Hot ice. Ice is always cold. You cannot have heat in ice. You cannot have both of them together, so to say. Sri Ramakrishna once told one of the disciples who behaved as if he is very spiritual, but at the same time he had a very bad temper. He had a very bad sensual outlook towards everything, but he would behave as if he is a great saint. So Sri Ramakrishna used to say that if you eat garlic, you will only belch garlic. You will eat garlic, you will only belch garlic. You don't think that you eat garlic and you will smell very, very good. We smell perfume, that's right. So that is not it. Whatever you put in, that will come out. And another story that Sri Ramakrishna used to say is that about the 4 drunkards. They drank very well throughout the night and they were all going towards their homes. As they were passing the jetty or the river Ganga, they saw a boat anchored over there. So they said, let us all go and let us have a joy ride throughout the night. So they all got into the boat, took the oars, and then they all started rowing. They went on rowing throughout the night because they were drunk. They were out of their mind. They thought they are enjoying the breeze of the Ganges and they are traveling. They went on rowing and rowing and rowing. And in the morning, when it was dawn, they found themselves, by the time the inebriation had come down, and then they found that they were in the same jetty from where they started. Said, what is wrong with us? We rode the whole night and we did not go anywhere. And they found that their anchor had not been lifted. So they had left the anchor and they did not lift. That is why it says, if we have to go forward, we have to leave the world behind. We have to leave these desires behind. So Sri Krishna says, Yatnaha, that is, practice is important. You may not be perfect, but practice will definitely bring in a lot of comfort to you. God helps those who help themselves. And again, there is a corollary to it. God does not help those who do not help themselves. The first one is the original. Second one is an interpolation. God helps those who help themselves, but God also does not help those who do not help themselves. You need to help yourself. You need to lift the anchor, as it were. There is this wonderful story which occurs in the Bhagavatam. Here it says that a bird lays its eggs on the seashore. It laid its eggs on the seashore, and then the waters of the sea came up and took away those eggs. She again laid eggs, again it was taken away. This happened a few times, and the mother bird was quite upset. Said, this ocean, Samudra Raja, he is taking away all my eggs. I will empty this ocean. So he goes, and she goes there, takes one big full of water, and then goes and then throws it far from the shore. She was doing it day in and day out. Narada, the divine minstrel, he came and saw the bird and asked, well, my dear, what happened? Why is it that you are taking water from your beak and you are throwing it away? She said, well, this Samudra Raja, the ocean king, he has taken away all my eggs. Whenever I lay my eggs, he is coming and he is stealing it away. I want to teach him a lesson. I will empty the ocean, waters of the ocean, and I will take all my eggs back. So Narada said, well, it will take you yugas, aeons, thousands, millions of years to do this. But the bird said, well, if it takes eons, let it, doesn't matter. But I will go forward in my efforts. See, that's what one wants, that yatna, that practice, practice must be there. One should have that diligent and concerted effort to practice this spiritual discipline. So what does he say here? Three things he says. Vashyatmana. That is, mind must be under our control. And this can come through sadhana, repeated efforts. Teach yourself again and again. Teach your mind, befriend your mind, and then coax it, and then it will come under control. And bring it unto one point. This is called in yoga as dharana. I bring it under control, hold it, and then bring it under control. Suppose you go and try to buy a horse, and then you load it onto the trailer and then bring it to your home, and then you open the door. What will happen? The horse will bolt. It will go away because it doesn't want to be imprisoned by you. So instead of that, you take the horse by the rope and then slowly and slowly bring it under control, train it, and make it your very favorite animal. So what happens at that time? Even if you want to drive it away, it will not go because it had started loving you. It has become a part of your household. In the same way, our mind sometimes just goes away. Slowly coax it and then bring it under control. That is called as dharana, domesticating, and then bringing it under control. Pashyatmana, yatata. Yatata means you should always be trying. Try again, and you will succeed at last. Standing at the foot, boys, gazing at the sky. How can you get up, boys, if you never try? Try again, and you will succeed at last. Longman's poem, which I learned when I was a child. Try again. You will definitely succeed. So you should not just look up at the mountain and say, "Oh, how can I get up over there?" If you want to go up, put the first step forward, then the second, then the third, and slowly you keep going. That is what it is. That is, we need to practice. We need to have that conviction, yatata. That means this practice must be there. Totapuri, Sri Ramakrishna's guru, used to have a copper pot and he used to clean it. He used to spend a long time to clean it every day. That was probably his only possession that he had, because he would not wear any clothes. He had only a loin cloth, and that was his possession. So Sri Ramakrishna was bemused by it, and then asked Tota, "Well, sir, you are cleaning it so very well. So much of time is being spent in doing that. You are so much attached to it, aren't you?" Totapuri said, "No, my dear, I am not attached to it. While I am cleaning, I am telling myself that I need to keep this as shining as it is all the time. Just in the same way, I practice meditation every day without fail. Every day without fail, so that I can cleanse it. I can cleanse it and keep it shining at all times." That is yatata. Then shakya upayam. Then the upayataha. Upaya means use the right tools and use the right methods to practice this spiritual discipline. Another meaning that the commentator gives about upayatata is abhitaha. From all the sides approach this. It means cover it from all sides. Do not have any doubt about the goal that you have chosen. Even if a little doubt creeps in, then it will be spoiled. Therefore, upayataha. It means with great alacrity. That is the idea. The proper means, upayata. With the proper means, you approach this. So you must use the proper tools and tackles. Just like somebody was the other day commenting about the Tanjavur Brihadeshwara temple. Most of you know about the Tanjavur Brihadeshwara temple, built more than 1200 years ago. At that time, they didn't have all the machinery that we have today. So on the top of the Gopuram of the Tanjavur, the main shrine Gopuram, there is an 80-ton stone. 80-ton stone that is almost, and the total height of the tower is 66 meters, 216 foot. And then this 80 tons has to be taken to the top of that 216 foot, 66 meter Gopuram. How did they do it? Upayataha. They employed the proper means. They employed the proper tools, the methods to approach this, to accomplish this, this great task. Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, who became the President of India, first President of India, he was sent as a ambassador to India, ambassador of India to USSR, then Russia, today's Russia. At that time it was USSR. And Stalin was the president of USSR, and he went to the Kremlin to present his credentials as all ambassadors are supposed to do. And then Stalin told Dr. Radhakrishnan, well, professor, he used to call him professor because Radhakrishnan was a professor. Well, professor, we will teach your country how to fly like birds and how to swim in the oceans like fish. We have the technology to help you to achieve this. Radhakrishnan, being a philosopher and scholar himself, he responded, that is very good, sir, but my country can teach you how to tread upon the earth like humans. We know how to tread upon the earth like humans. Yes, you can go up, you can dive down. It's all right, but we need to have this samatva. That means how to lead our life in a balanced manner. And this yoga teaches us how to live our life in a balanced manner. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Sri Krishna says this samatva, balance in life, is indeed yoga. We will continue this chapter next Sunday. Shantakaram bhujagashayanam padmanabham suresham Vishwadharam gaganasadrisham meghavarnam shubhankam Lakshmikantam kamalanayanam yogiridhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatham. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you. Swami Tadananda will continue his talk now.